What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, Travis J. Davidson. Travis, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Had a long evening at the Oklahoma City Thunder basketball game as they were setting records. The vibes were high. It was awesome. Unfortunately, Boston and New York is a much bigger story. So nobody really talked about the Thunder today. So I
Yeah,
was so excited. On my way back, I was going to tune in some things and you know. Uh, no, it's like they didn't even play. Well, I guess Denver didn't, but it's like the game never even happened. So, but it's been a good week. Been having some good meetings. Just met with AD Dunn, Coach Dunn over there at Carl Albert.
okay.
Hopefully, going to get to do some stuff there with Team Sports Consulting Group. He's an awesome dude. So,
What I like to hear.
and there's so many Carl Albert Titans on on our roster. I felt right at home, right at home. So. Yeah, how about you? How are you doing? Your week going well?
Yeah, man.
Halliburton making sure your week going well,
Man, what the Halliburton? I mean,
dude.
it's just it's awesome for us because it harkens back to a lot of people with the Reggie Miller days. You know how you had a scrawny kid who was certainly underrated, and people didn't know if he was going to work in a small market. And I mean, he's rated, the most overrated by his peers, which I think is completely bogus, to be honest. I mean, again,
Well, also the straw poll's really bogus too, because like in
yeah,
in the in the most overrated thing, it was like 11 guys or something like that.
yeah, that's fair.
Like
That's fair.
not everybody, not every player, not the hundreds of players are
Yeah,
required to take those polls. So like 30 players took it, and he got
yeah.
like some of the votes. So it was like, but hey, what I like about it, to your point, over it, he's leaned into it, right?
Oh, overrate that. I
Yeah,
mean,
what a tweet.
yeah. I mean, I mean, really, right? The last 30 years, basically, this has been like the week that the Patriots have had with the comeback on the Bucks to close them out, and then you know to go up 2-0, on what many people consider the second best team in the NBA to you guys,
Hmm.
in the regular season. I mean, I know that they're obviously are missing pieces. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, they're fully loaded or something like that. I know that they weren't, but the main point is like you still got to go into Cleveland. You still got to win. Donovan Mitchell is still, you know, very good in his own right. They had other players that
Yeah.
stepped up, and so the shot is still the shot. And so it
Well, and
was
that's
it
and
was
that's
just
not your fault. Like
no,
all the people
no,
that run into injury plagued teams, like sure you can make excuses, but hey, you know what? Like it is what it is. Like Oklahoma City, part of the reason that they're largely healthy is because they were patient and they developed their bench. They developed their depth. Like they don't have as many miles on them. They didn't play a ton of fourth quarters like the starters did. And like I get that it suck, like injuries suck, but I get so annoyed when people just write off games entirely because there were some injuries. Like, okay, well, we're not going to apologize for winning. Like, sorry, like we're not sorry, we're not sorry. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, 100%. So, it's been a good week from that standpoint. And then just getting ready for the end of school here. Getting prepared and
Mm-hmm.
gonna see some of my favorite peeps here in a few weeks, including yours truly. You.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'll be up there.
that's happening, and my little sister's popping up, and so looking forward to those things. We've got Mother's Day this weekend. Celebrating the beautiful wife over there, and
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm.
my mom. So yeah, obviously Mama Sue as well will be
That's right.
celebrating.
She hadn't been going to her old hairdresser. Um, it's one of these fancy hairdressers. Which, by the way, any women watching, I you guys need to go on strike or something when it comes to how much getting your hair done costs. This is insane. Um, like collectively bargain that, unionize, do something. But anyways, like mom hadn't been in a while, and so for kind of a Mother's Day gift, my sister and I surprised her with. I took her to lunch and didn't tell her that I was going to be dropping her off at the hairdresser. Took her there. It was awesome. So she's already got her Mother's Day gift. So yeah, it will. Oh geez, here we go. We got a random UT fan popping in, old Bryson. But regardless, shout out to any mothers that might be watching this. Hope you have fantastic, safe, happy, rewarding Mother's Day. You guys deserve it.
And first super chat from SPC Bates. Appreciate it. Shout out from Wisconsin. Fire Joe John Finley.
Hey, again, we talk about it every week. I can't blame fans for feeling that way.
Yeah.
Got to produce, got to recruit, got to do something. So,
yeah.
And SBC Bates, the tight end we wanted out of the portal ended up going to Wisconsin. So I'm going to hold you kind of a little bit responsible for that. I don't know if you're donating to Wisconsin's NIL. I don't know if you're purchasing licensed products from them, things like that. But I don't know. You might share some blame in us missing out on a Joe John target. So not sure.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, if it's a Pacers Thunder finals, will there be a bet between the hosts? Of course. Of course there will be. Yeah. That would be crazy. We would each be needing to catch some games on the road.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
That'd be dope.
You wouldn't have to pay any for a hotel if you came up here. You know that. So that's what happens.
I love me some Indianapolis. So
yeah. Well, guys, we wanted to really get into, as the title says, we spent the last few weeks talking about some current events, and certainly there's been a few to chat about, but now not a ton that has popped off, and so good time for us to really take a deep dive into what we're really looking at next year. Title of this episode is can the Sooners win SEC championship? Do they have the guns, the horses to do that? I think there's a possibility. I do, and we'll get to that later. But Trav and chat, do you think Oklahoma has a legitimate shot to win an SEC championship, or do you think it's wishful thinking with our schedule?
I don't think it's crazy. I'm not betting on it by any stretch of the imagination. What would have to happen, though, I think is the question, right? What would have to happen along the way for Oklahoma to win an SEC championship? I think John Mateer would have to be a Heisman candidate, like a Heisman finalist. And I think you have to stay healthy at corner. Yeah. I think Jaden Ott would have to get back to his 2023 self. I think your edge rushers would have to really show up. Your Marvin Jones Jr.'s of the world. Your PJ. Coming through finally. R. Mason Thomas. Like a double-digit sack year from him. Like, I think the ingredients are there, but a lot of things are going to have to break correctly for Oklahoma. Nuss. He's probably going to throw for 40 touchdowns this year, but he also turns the ball over a lot. So what does LSU look like? What does that receiving core with new tight ends, Bauer Sharp, and new wide receiver, Nick Anderson, in their arsenal? Caden Durham, obviously, once an OU, heavy OU target, is going to be one of the better backs in the SEC down there in the Bayou. So I like them a lot. Texas has a lot to replace. Obviously, Georgia has a lot to replace. They've both been recruiting at an elite level, so they've got the requisite talent. But is it going to take? Are they going to take some time to kind of get used to that? Right, with with Arch and with new quarterbacks everywhere. I mean, in the SEC, over half the teams have new quarterbacks, including Oklahoma, but our quarterback was with this OC last year. So I guess if we want to say over half the SEC has new quarterbacks with a new OC. So learning a new offense, stuff like that. So I think Oklahoma, like I said, if Mateer can be a Heisman candidate, I think Oklahoma can do it. What do you think has to break right for Oklahoma, and then even with the rest of the conference, JP?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that it's a good year for a lot of the conference powers, if you will, bringing in new quarterbacks. Georgia, obviously Texas, who was in the SEC championship game last year. Alabama is, Ole Miss is, Tennessee is. I mean, just go down the list. Obviously, I think, in my opinion, the highest rated returning quarterback is Lenore Sellers down in South Carolina. Who is in mock drafts being projected potentially the number one pick next year,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
I like Lenore Sellers. I like Lenore Sellers like more than most people, but number one pick. I mean, he's that big body type, and people like that, I guess. But like, that's number one pick is a lot. So we'll see. I think he's got to get a little better throwing the ball. He's a great runner. He's very physical. He's tough. But we'll see. He was a young guy, played well last year. I think he's ready to take the next step. They've got star Dylan Stewart on the other side of the ball. Might be the best edge rusher in the country next year. So, I mean, they've got some stars on that team. It's just I don't know what the rest of their roster looks like from a talent perspective. They haven't recruited at an insane level.
Yeah. No, 100%. And Shane's doing a good job over there. But yeah, I mean, I think that, with who we have on the schedule this year and a good chunk of those teams breaking in new quarterbacks, Missouri as well, you have to believe that with who we have in John Mateer, that more often than not we'll have the better quarterback going into matchups, which is something to say this year when we really couldn't say that outside of Auburn last year, that we had the better quarterback in a game, in an SEC game.
We were supposed to have it in Missouri, but
in Missouri too, but that didn't happen.
Right, that didn't happen.
But yeah, no, I think that has to happen, or that will happen, and then obviously just staying healthy, I think, is the biggest piece. Specifically at the skill position, making sure that we don't have any catastrophic injuries. And that, as Kirby's saying here, he'll be excited once we get to week 1 without 40 injuries, and we're in a better spot in terms of holistically, right, than we were last year, even in terms of the wide receiver room, in terms of the offensive line room, certainly. But even still, there have been some injuries that are frustrating, but hopefully, the boys will show up this year. I think the defense is going to do good. I think Grayson Halton was, I saw Buford on Facebook shared a tweet the other day that talked about Grayson being, obviously a projected draft pick, and that he could go off the board in 3rd, 4th round is what they're saying, and that he's seen that way, and he was I think the highest rated in pass rush situations from a defensive tackle, one, but also the fact that he's behind Dominic and Jaden, which I think speaks to the depth that OU has in the defensive tackle room, right? And they have different packages that can come out and everything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, it's amazing what they've done with that room. We talked about it last week. You can go really 6 deep. We've got 7 300-pounders on there, but 6 deep really at guys that can rotate well. But it's got defensively, I think it's just going to come down to really I think, who do you think the player outside of John Mateer, if you could say one player that could change, if you lose this player, could change the trajectory of your season, legitimately cost you wins and losses?
Outside of John Mateer, you said?
Outside of John Mateer, and I want the chat to say this as well. But yes, outside of John Mateer, if you could guarantee health for one player on the team, and you just, it's like one of those memes. There's 10 different colored pills. They give you different superpowers. Which pill are you taking? Any player on the roster outside of John Mateer, obviously starting quarterback, if you could guarantee them health, who would it be? And then Bryson, we're going to get to you.
I was going to say Deion Burks, offensively. If I could choose a defensive player, I'm going to wait, but I'm going to say Deion.
Let's, while people fill that out, shout out my Texas buddy here.
Oh, thanks for the super chat, Bryson. Appreciate that. Says if both units stay healthy, y'all will be in the mix, even with the tough schedule. Going to come down to one-score games. Love getting on Travis's nerves daily. Y'all keep up the good work. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Bryson is he does a good job of it. But yeah, I mean, the one-score games, like Bryson brings up, like maybe our new kicker, is that the answer? Is if our kicker stays healthy, we'll actually win some one-score games. Because if you look back to our 6 and 7 season of the Big 12, like we missed so many kicks and we lost so many games by 3. Like it was so bad. So if you just get some good kicking, get above average kicking, just be solid from like 45 and in, you're gonna win some games. Bryson added that R. Mason Thomas would be his selection. If again, the question to remind people in the YouTube chat, if you could guarantee the health of one Sooner not named John Mateer this year, who would it be? So far, Kirby, any receiver. Jacob Jordan, staying healthy. Deion Burks, going to be a popular answer. Boomer 129 is down with OTT. Satania, Sategna, I believe, is what we typically do. But his autocorrect might have got the best of him there. Oh, that might be an audio situation. But Bryson said R. Mason Thomas. Odd if he's the 23. Donated that specific amount just because it's orange. Sicko.
He was a Texas fan.
Funny. Kip Lewis on defense, and again, Satania. The center. Well, the thing is, what's interesting is now we've got actual depth at Satania. Or now I keep on saying Satania. We've got actual depth at center. So with Jake Michaela coming, you're like, okay, you obviously want your center staying healthy, but you're in better shape a little bit. So that British guy, because of vibes, not because he's any good. He will be good. Daniel Akinkumi will be good. He's a big kid. Gentry Williams, surprises the first we've seen of that. Dolby, he was playing like the best player on defense. Gentry again, which leads me to my answer, which is Gentry Williams. If I can guarantee health at that position, then I know that we have a big, athletic, lockdown corner who I think if he's fully healthy, he will play his way into like the first 2 rounds. I think he'll test extremely well. He's got all the traits that, all these NFL guys, they talk about traits this, traits that, everything like that. Gentry's got them. So if I can guarantee, and it's because we're thin at corner when it comes to experience, like Jake Michaela, gives us some center depth. Even with Jaden Ott, do you feel okay, handing the reins to Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum and Javonte Barnes for, a couple games? Probably. The safety room has been, coming along very nicely, right? You got Boganowski and Reggie Powers and Jaden Hardy. You've got obviously Peyton Bowen and RSJ and all those cats back there, but and then Kendall Daniels. What's that going to look like? So yeah, I think it's got to be Gentry for me, simply because we lack depth there. We lack experience depth. I don't think you feel fantastic if you have to start Jacoby and Eli all year, because behind them you've just got a bunch of guys that haven't really seen the field. Two would be freshmen, and then Devon Jordan didn't play a ton of snaps for us last year. Obviously, moving Kendall Dolby over there to the corner room would shore that up very quickly. But in a perfect world, I want him to be able to play whatever position he wants and not just play, or whatever position is best for the team, as opposed to, just playing corner because of injuries.
Right. Yeah, man, we've just wanted to see, I think, Gentry play for a while. It's been a minute since I think we've seen a healthy Gentry Williams. I was gonna say RSJ on defense. That was gonna be my defensive pick, and Jimmy seems to agree with me. But I think the only reason I wouldn't say Gentry is just because we played. It seems like we played without Gentry for so long, in ways that I think, we've been able to be successful without him. But I do agree that with a healthy Gentry, and what we have seen from a healthy Gentry, it does change your defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I get it from an availability perspective. When it comes to Gentry, has not been has not been available. So, and maybe that's kind of why I picked him, because it's like, man, it would raise our ceiling at least. Like, I've already seen what it looks like without him. I'd sure like to see it with him. So, we might need to not let Michael Boganowski participate in fall camp, just out of the safety for everybody else. No pun intended. But we can't have him. I don't think he can turn off the switch of going and trying to, break somebody in two. Mm-hmm. So might hold him out and just say, hey man, and just, make him watch some brainwashing videos, like get him Captain Insano out there. But yeah, Boganowski, big hitter. That safety, Brandon Hall's done such a job, man, of getting that safety room right. I couldn't be more pleased with that room, and the NFL draft is going to know his name extremely quickly, because Billy Bowman this year, RSJ next year, probably Peyton the next year, probably after that, whoever plays the most of the Hardy, Boganowski, Powers trio, you're going to end up putting a lot of safeties in the league, and I'm couldn't be happier with Brandon Hall. Oh, we both tried to do it.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Mason Thomas literally took over games at times last year. If he gets just a bit more consistent, he's a first round talent. I'd say a safety, but seems to have lots of depth. Could be wrong. I mean, he's not wrong. He ain't wrong. Mason certainly did, but we weren't even in the lead that much. So I feel like he didn't get to pin his ears back as much as he could have.
Right. It's, he doesn't have the freak of nature edge position measurables like you're seeing in the combine these days or in the draft and all this. Like he'll have production, but there are going to be NFL teams. There are certain GMs that have just flags. They're like, if you have any of these things, you will not be on our board. Like a lot of general managers are like, hey, if a quarterback isn't above a certain height, you're not on my board. If a offensive lineman, his arms aren't a certain length, his wingspan is all, you're off my board. Like, people have those type of rules that they set to, and their theories on how they want to build out their roster. And I don't think Nagy's going to be a lot different when it comes to recruiting. I think there's going to be some situations where Nagy's like, this guy doesn't, he has short arms, or he's too small, or whatever it is. That's the only thing I think that could keep R. Mason Thomas out of the first round is his measurables, because his production is going to be there. So, and I think he's due for another big time year. To your point, if we get some leads and he gets to pin his ears back, then he could really, really start to rack up those numbers.
Oh yeah, I think he has a good chance, this year with a competent offense to do that. Sooner Cowboys are excited for the defense this season. Hope the offense can just lift the team to playing complementary football. Absolutely. Every year is a stretch, Kirby. Okay. It was really just this year, was it not? Did they have multiple last year? Or was it just Xavier?
I think it was just. Let me.
I thought it was just X last year.
Let's.
They did have a lot of draft picks this year, though. So that we Oklahoma fans cannot say that Texas doesn't develop anymore. That
they had Byron Murphy. They had Byron Murphy at 16. Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
So they had 2. In 2023, they had 1. In 2021, they had 0. Oh, I forgot. In 2022, they had 0 draft picks. That's still the craziest thing I've ever seen. 0 draft picks from Texas. And then 1 first rounder, 2 first rounders, 3 first rounders this past year. So they're trending in that direction for sure. I don't know. I mean, Ant Hill, Colin Simmons, those guys are first rounders. Everybody thinks Arch is going to be a first rounder before ever seeing him play. So we'll see. He very well could be, but he might stay in college for 3 more years. Who knows? But the double Gibson, Giovanni and Jaden with Burks would be lethal. Big bodies on the outside, and then Deion Burks in the slot. That would be a lot of fun. This is an interesting question. All right.
This year?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably I think I would put the number at like 6, maybe get drafted.
Yeah. Who would you say is the 6?
I would say John Mateer, if he has the year that we think that he might have, I would say Mateer, R. Mason Thomas, RSJ, Dominic Williams. I think if Gentry's healthy, he gets drafted. I think Fabechi probably gets drafted. Depending on how this year goes for Derek Simmons or either of the Jakes. I know one of them, Taylor's got more eligibility than Sexton, but Deion Burks.
Yeah.
And then
Grayson has a shot too.
Marvin Jones Jr. Yeah, he's got one more year though, right?
He does.
Right. I'm thinking I don't know what he would. I don't know if he would want to come back in his redshirt senior year with Dominic Williams gone and play next to Jaden. I don't know, but Kendall Daniels, perfect body type for the NFL. So you could name like 10 that have a shot, and then I'm still probably forgetting a few. So I think I don't know. I'd have to see what Grayson does this year and his production, but
yeah, for sure.
I think him coming next him with Jaden and David Stone and all those guys in 2026 could be great. Trent Wilson, those guys, that could be a lot of fun. But Kirby's never
I don't
heard of
know.
our
I mean,
starting right
this
guard
might
last
be
year.
his senior year. I don't know that he redshirted.
Didn't he?
I don't know that he did. I think he played in 2022. I don't think he redshirted.
Hold, please.
Well, let's see.
No, he's a senior.
I think he's
He's
right.
a senior. All right. Well, Grayson's
Grayson.
definitely getting drafted.
Yeah. Hey, I'm hoping to get an invite to the draft party. That's what I'm.
There you go. There you go.
I told Grayson if he at the combine, he already know what it is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll obviously be there. It was funny. So Boomer 129 put this in there. The Mainline podcast guys, friends of the show, put that out there. Unfortunately, they got the graphic wrong because Jaden Blue is not a member of the Texas Longhorns. He is in the NFL now. So I'm not sure what they were thinking, but it's good to know that Jaden Ott has – let's see. So John Williams, another friend of the show. Sorry, my Siri on my laptop started.
Okay.
No, stop. I said it again, so it started again. So Grayson Holden, R. Mason Thomas, Dominic Williams, Robert Spears Jennings, obviously Kip Lewis. I didn't name him. Derek Simmons, Marvin Jones Jr., Fabechu Wiwu, Kirby, our only offensive lineman that started every game last year, in case you weren't watching. And then John Mateer, and then obviously Jaden Ott as well. So you could get to 10, which would give Oklahoma significantly more momentum on the recruiting trail.
Yes. Yes, it would. What do you think about this one?
Man, it's tough because we consistently have this argument. Irrational Sammy says, "What number of draft eligible players do you need to choose to come back to school each year to get a consistent powerhouse team each year?" I don't think there's a number that you need. At sometimes you've got depth at a position that it's like, hey, look, like let those guys, go into the draft. It is what it is. If they come back, then you'll lose maybe a sophomore that's ready to, burst onto the scene. And then now you're like, okay, well now we've given up our, to have a guy come back, we've given up our depth or given up our future. The question of retention versus acquisition is a new problem for college athletics, right? You have retention of your own rosters to keep them off of other people's rosters, to keep them out of the NFL if you want them to come back, kind of like R. Mason Thomas, things like that, get them to come back. And then you've got to acquire out of the portal and out of high school. So it's interesting because there's no right figure to say what the what the proper formula is because we haven't been available all that long. But yeah, national champions the last couple of years, 10 to 15 draft picks for sure. Ohio State brought back a ton of players that would have been like 5th, 6th round, 4th round guys to come back and beat Michigan, even though they didn't do that, but they did win the national championship. With Will Howard. So yeah,
I feel like we did the same thing though this year. Like I feel in terms of like, I feel like we had a few guys that could have gone to or tried to go to the draft and be like, bookends or like 6th, 7th or whatever, or even undrafted free agents like
Danny Billy and or obviously not just this year, but Danny and Billy did get brought back essentially for this last run. And then this year, R. Mason Thomas was kind of the one, that people were talking about. But again, if you have
even RSJ.
Yeah, could have gone for sure.
I think he could have gone in the later.
I think RSJ at times got not not disrespected, but the Billy was like the shinier prospect,
Mhm.
you know, and Billy and Jada, like they're OU's power couple and this, that, and the other, and and Billy's a great player, obviously. I think RSJ will get more attention this year because he's the lead dog in that safety room now. Like, not to say that he wasn't great last year. He was, but I think from an optics perspective, I think RSJ made the right decision to come back.
I think Anthony Edwards is hurt, by the way.
Yeah, apparently he went down and grabbed his ankle or something like that. But
yeah, man, the NBA hates that. The two stars of that series down. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know who Golden State has on the floor. Golden State has some G League players. I swear, like
they're like Jimmy Butler and Draymond are gonna have to save them. So
they had a dude that looked like me out there. Like I feel like I could do.
Hey, Buddy Hield playing well.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield was on the podium the other day, but yeah, they have somebody named Quentin Post.
Quentin at least plays with the main crew. There's like two other guys like
but nobody's tuning in for Quentin Post.
You're right.
You know what
You're
I mean?
absolutely right. Yes. I'd be trying to get it professional, y'all, but this is why I'd be laughing.
Like this Guy Santos.
Yeah, who is that?
Yeah, nobody tuning in for that.
Kirby says, I was too busy thinking of fun ways to physically harm Seth Luttrell every week to remember the name of our starting right guard. That's why he does remember Fubuki Woo, because he was so doomer.
Priorities, Kirby. Got to learn the players on the team.
So I did actually. I stumbled upon something that I thought would be fun for us to go through here on X. So bear with me. But
Kirby, Steph Curry is hurt right now. So
yes. Okay. So I don't know who saw this.
Okay, this is very clearly an Oklahoma State fan. Like, and I know all these people get accused of being this, that, and the other, but like they put out another like delusional fan base, big game boomer type list like this, and it was like most delusional fan base, Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma State top 5 least delusional fan base, and then like even on this kind of stuff, like
who is Zach Robinson? I don't even know who that is.
Zach Robinson was their quarterback. He's now the offensive coordinator for Atlanta. But yeah, the fact that Zach Robinson is on there, I forget. I mean, like
he's got James Washington over Dede Westbrook.
Yeah, over Joe Burrow. Like,
yeah, that's nuts.
Over Amari Cooper. Like, either this person, like, it's just an OSU fan, and it's just rage bait. There's no way that Justin Blackman was over Eric Dickerson and Michael Crabtree and Justin Jefferson and the Honey Badger, Derrick Henry. Like we're putting Shedeur over Adrian Peterson.
Where's Shedeur at?
31.
Oh my gosh, that's over it. Oh yeah, no.
And over Travis Hunter. If anybody deserves to be higher, like Travis Hunter should be much higher. But again, it's just rage bait. It's a goofy. I mean, Eddie George at 78, Randy Moss at 76, like behind Zach Robinson. Like it's rage bait. It's just an Oklahoma State fan that is one of those where he puts something out like this and he's like,
he has Brennan Presley at 90, Chuba Hubbard at 93.
Yeah, that's
just got tired at the end there. Because Brendan Presley and Chuba Hubbard, neither of them were more electric than Deuce Vaughn or Trayvon Boykin.
Can we make the can we make that graphic the whole screen somehow? I'm not sure how to do that.
Let me see. I think we potentially could. Let me see what that looks like. Is that better?
A little better, yeah. I think. Can we? Is this one?
Is that
It
better?
uncovers the list. I don't know. We got some people that will just basically,
Oh, he said I need a telescope. Is that better, y'all? Right there, this one.
you
Let
can
us
see it a
know.
little bit. You can see it a little bit better. It's a little enlarged, but like, yeah, it's crazy that, like, first of all, Brennan Presley. I love the Presley family. Don't get me wrong, but ahead
Oh,
of Thurman Thomas, like
yeah,
ahead of Thurman Thomas. They can't even get the Oklahoma State players right.
yeah,
But if you look at the engagement, 1.1 thousand comments, it's just
yeah.
a big game boomer dupe. I mean, it uses the exact same format. It's just an Oklahoma State fan that is going to try and run up, a bunch of followers onto their account by tweeting rage bait lists like this, and then calling everybody delusional or too sensitive or tell them to cry or whatever if they disagree with
You
any of
know,
it.
you know what the
Classic rage bait.
you know what the most disgusting part of this list is, though. If I was a mouse.
Which one? Which
The
one?
most disgusting part, bro. Look who's right behind Kyler Murray, and look what he puts as his college. That settles it right there.
Hold on. Where's Kyler?
Kyler's 18.
Oh, I'm surprised he has him that high. What, he has Baker at Tech? Oh, yeah. See, that's just
It's disrespectful.
it's just an OSU fan trying to rage OU fans. And luckily for this person, OU fans will fall for that bait and run up his comments every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure that they have. But no, I saw that list and I was like, man, they get a kick out of this. They would get a kick out of it. I mean, the top 10 isn't bad.
I mean,
Barry deserves to be up there. I can understand Johnny, Tavon, Reggie, Cam, Ted. I'm not saying in that order, but Saquon, Bo. I don't know that I would put Saquon over Bo personally.
it feels like they found a list of most electric college football players and then just dotted in a bunch of Oklahoma State players into the middle of it and just moved some people around.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what it feels like.
But yeah, of course, when they were talking about top 10 college towns per conference, like OSU, of course, second best college town in the conference. Norman isn't even top 10 in the SEC, but Stillwater is number 2. But
Kirby says, "Where is OJ?"
this is the classic. Anybody that responded with rage bait or clickbait, he said your favorite team isn't special. Get some ball knowledge. Like it's just trolling. An Oklahoma State fan trolling.
Yeah. So it is.
So
oh yeah, this is the same guy you said OU is the most delusional.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mute that account so I don't have to mute. All right, good. Front Porch Sports is now muted. Oklahoma State fan won't be getting any of my rage.
Let's open it up to the chat, man, for questions. I know they've been asking some already, but on Twitter and on YouTube, make sure you pop in and ask some questions. Now, a quick thing just for you guys to know, we haven't necessarily been engaging on every platform, YouTube and Twitter, obviously. You are gonna start seeing some JP and Trav Show clips on TikTok. We are going to put out some content over there, nothing crazy, but just look out for it. It'll be tweeted out. For those of you who get on it, be on the lookout for that. You can see some of Trav's most hottest takes there, because I normally in the quiet one, at least on here. Now, if we out in public,
you should have seen this man dance. This guy, I mean, he can dance. He got up and started doing something, some type of, I don't know, what do you call that dance?
Where are we at? What are you talking about?
At Burn in Indianapolis.
Oh, the electric slide? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I know the electric slide. Unless I have a different version of the electric slide.
No.
Anyways, it was Boomer 129, the 8th to like the video. Come on, people. We got 800 people watching.
No.
800 people. Go like the video.
No.
Go like the video.
Kirby, we got to get through a few shows without you saying something absolutely wild, and then maybe we can consider it. We just can't trust you. You might say anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
we can at least control you. We can at least control putting the stuff out here,
Right. Yeah, the live chat doesn't go on the screen if we don't want it to. So, we just have no faith in you to behave yourself. Which, hey, that's fine. That's fine.
You got a track record, dog.
It's not an insult. That is just you are noteworthy. Yeah. Did I tell you this about how I'm in a group text with Les, right? And it pronounces it Les Wilson. So now anytime I see Les Wilson in the comments or on Twitter or DM or whatever, all I can think about is this French guy, Les Wilson.
Les Wilson.
Les Wilson.
Yeah. All right, guys. What questions do we got? For the boys?
That was a. I need to go back and watch that episode.
Which one was that? That was a few months ago.
It was the Sooner Avengers.
What was that? Oh man, I forgot who he was arguing with.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I forgot even what the take was, but
yeah,
it was one of the.
Oh no, he wasn't a guest. It was one of the two playing. Was it? I thought it was somebody in the chat. Just a random person in the chat. No. Oh man. He's like, no. It was somebody who was speaking, which was funny. You'll have to go back and watch it. You'll have to go back and watch it. But we will have to go back and watch it for sure.
But
I know a few of y'all got some questions. Go ahead, Trav.
See if I can find it. Here we are.
What do we think of the new some of the new pickups like Jermichael Carter and
Jermichael Carter? To me, is insurance for Jaden Gibson and Giovanni Gibson.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to tell me that he's too small for the SEC the other day. I was like, 6'4", 192 is not too small.
Yeah.
Stop it. He's, it'll be interesting because he led McNeese in all receiving statistics, and their quarterback play was cheeks.
Yeah.
Their quarterbacks combined for 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. They were bad. So the quarterback play is going to be much better. But, I think Gabe and Teddy were talking about it. They're like, in the film, it's like you can tell when he has an opportunity to get the ball, he runs his route crisp, fast, hard, everything like that. But if you can tell it's not in the plans to get him the ball on that play, he just doesn't play with the same edge. So, that'll just be coaching and higher stakes and competitiveness. I mean, he didn't have to worry about it. He was the most talented player on the team. So it's like, What are they going to do? Like once he understands that, clearing out, for clearing out the middle for another receiver or getting downfield and blocking for your running back or something like that, things like that lead to wins in this conference. And really at every level of football, I think he'll come around. I like Jermichael a lot. I'm interested that we went out and got another one, our 14th scholarship wide receiver, while we still need a tight end.
Right.
But hey, another talk for another day, I suppose. But I'm gonna pay some bills real quick. I'm wearing the hat tonight, but I will be going into my barbershop tomorrow. You all know it, Boardroom Styling Lounge. They got like 50 locations. I'm doing more like national shows. I was on with our friends, that SEC podcast with Cousin Shane. He forgot to hit record, by the way. We're 15 minutes into recording, and like we're talking, he's asking questions, all this kind of stuff, and he literally then hit record. And I was like, did I just see the live part start? He's like, yeah, sorry about that. That's why Mike doesn't let me do these because, I'm not very good at them. So then we started over and did a whole nother thing. But anyways, I'm doing more national shows. So I got to look my best representing Sooner Nation. Some of you know Easton from my social media, Easton Woods. He's been my barber for nearly a decade. He's working at Boardroom Styling Lounge for a while now. And the fine folks over there are letting me give 20% off the first service to all JP and Trav viewers, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitter, whatever. Go into any Boardroom Styling Lounge nationwide, use the code TRAV20, get 20% off your first service of your choice. They got all kinds of stuff too. So even if you're bald and beautiful, they can hit your beard trim, they can wax the eyebrows, they can do the straight razor head shave, they can do the paraffin hand whack, they can do whatever you need. And they got a pool table in the middle of each one. So that's not bad. So but yeah, any other questions in the chat that we are unaware of?
Travis, so you put him McCarthy winner of the year.
I should. Let's see, how can I say this on YouTube? I can't gamble here in Oklahoma on sports. So whenever I will leave the state on other business, I will probably place some wagers. So yes, I will be putting money on McCarthy winning Rookie of the Year. I think it's an easy choice. Easy choice. I wonder what his odds are. Let's see.
And then we're on 29. When you're done with that, he does ask about the conversation with Joe C.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. He spoke for about an hour. I went back and forth. It was really cool to get his insight on how they, built out the new structure, right, and how it, came along with all the legal precedents or the legal, questions they've got going forward from the federal perspective. What it was like to bring in Randall Stevenson, how they landed on Jim Nagy of all people, how they brought in Trey Young, and how that approach kind of started, and what his involvement can be. It was great. So we are going to do more of these events. We're going to do them every other month. And our next guest, I just got a text from him yesterday, Jim Nagy, is going to be coming over to Tulsa and doing a private event with the OU Club of Tulsa. Anybody can come, though. You can come from wherever. It's like $20. It's like 80 people is the max. So we want these events to be intimate, nothing recorded, so they're a bit more candid with their answers. And Josie it was great. Talked about some of the struggles, but talked about life in the SEC and yeah. But with Josie, because of the timing of it, and he's a bit, he's in demand individual. He's like, okay, I think we'll have time for like 9 questions or something like that. So I had to put together like, okay, these are like the 9 that I might, ask or whatever. So yes, Kirby, you can come. You're all the way out in California though, right? So we got might have to put a tariff on you or something coming to the state. But yeah, you don't have to be a member of the OU Club of Tulsa to come to this event. But if you are a member of the OU Club of Tulsa, you get half-price tickets to the event. And you get priority knowledge, like you get the email out ahead of time before we announce it to the public. And it's only $35 a year. To be a member of the OU Club of Tulsa is only $35 a year. It's incredible. So, anyways, Jeff Elkins asks, where do you all think OU's front seven ranks in the SEC? I think number 2 is possible. I think it is too. Texas hasn't had the interior defensive line recruiting that they have needed to last couple of years. But then again, they've got the edge play. That's for damn sure. They've got very, very good edge play. Georgia's they've always recruited the defensive line well, so that's going to be good. As far as linebacker play goes, we're going to be, I would say it's got a chance to be top 3. I think Texas, Georgia. It depends what South Carolina does around Dylan Stewart. Tennessee lost a lot of talent there. Yeah, I would say you've got the opportunity to have OU, Georgia, and Texas as the top 3 front sevens in the SEC.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Ole Miss still has some pieces, right, that they can still be pretty good as well. But like you said, I think we can get some consistency from the edges this year, and especially in the pass rush, which I think maybe we should see more of if we are up. There's no reason to believe, like you said, that we're not completely up there, because I think interior-wise, we for sure are up there. I don't think that's a question.
I think on the edges, R. Mason Thomas is all SEC.
Yeah.
And then now you got Marvin Jones Jr. on the other side, PJ.
Right.
You got dudes that can rush the passer. So, interior set, linebackers. This might all come down to Kobe McKenzie. If he's, if he can really step up into that role next to Kip, then you might be onto something. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, any parting words, buddy?
Man, just be on the lookout. We still, I know it's been less guest heavy this off season. We still got plenty of time left, but we will certainly be having more guests on as we progress. But life happens, and at the end of the day, we just want to get you guys content, even if it's just us two. It's always good to be here. Always good to spend time chatting, even with our boy, Kirby. Even if he's a little bit off his rocker sometimes, we still love him. We still love all of y'all. Appreciate all the support you guys give us. Again, be on the lookout for those of you who are on TikTok. I'll shoot it out on Twitter, but I'll be posting some JP and Trav clips. Old clips, new clips, everything like that on there as well. Just trying to continue to, expand the platform and everything like that. So, Trav, you got anything, brother?
No, I'm all good. If you happen to be watching this and you're a coach at any level, holler at me about Team Sports Consulting Group. We're traveling all over the place. I was in Oklahoma City, meeting with people yesterday. Be up at Indianapolis. JP going out to Pennsylvania at the end of the month to onboard a football team. So holler at me. I ain't hard to find. I know that much. So no other parting words from me.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for next week. Again, whether it's Wednesday or Thursday, we'll let you guys know. But until then, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Boomer.